Hey, everybody, welcome to this AMP session. Today we are joined with Nigel Preddy from Queensland, and he's going to be talking to us a little bit about, well, first we're going to find out a little bit more about him and his real estate journey, and then we're going to ask him a couple of questions, maybe a coaching almost session related to taking things to the next level. So, Nigel, welcome to AMP.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me, Rob. Morning, everybody, or afternoon, wherever you all are.
We've got people across the whole gamut. So, Nigel, just tell us a little bit about your background, maybe what happened before real estate and then how you got into real estate and those kind of things.
Right. Well, started off my career, did a couple of years in the British Defence Force in the Air Force back in England. Chased a girl out to Australia, did all of that, worked in commercial insurance for 25 years. When AMP sold their insurance register, I joined Marcus Evans, which was a large corporate conference organizer. Figured out there was better ways of doing it. So my wife, who actually worked there as well, we set up our own corporate business. I carried on doing that. She went in, decided to want to do real estate 8 years ago, which fully backed and supported her. I carried on running the corporate conferences right up until COVID hit, which large gatherings of people and conferences, etc., did not work. So I was already used to just picking up the phone, phoning people, booking sponsorship deals, and looking for something to do. And Tracy said, well, make some appointments for me, and started making appointments for her. She was poached over to Ray White, who then employed me as well. And I got my license 2 years ago, was when I started my real estate career. So still new on that side, but have been used to talking to people, finding solutions for everything, whether it's insurance or generating more business, which went very well. Then literally 12 months ago, our sponsor's Mike Sherrard, and I was having a chat with him. And he suggested we have a look at the EXP model. So I got my spreadsheets out and said, right, this is what we're making at Ray White, and this is what we could be making if we did the same at EXP. So we moved over, officially started after we got through all the corporate wrangling and legal battles with Ray White, probably September the 28th, 29th last year. 2 days later, I was on a plane to Vegas for EXP Con, just to network. And yes, I've got the shirt on already today.
Yes.
And yeah, just sort of sucking all of that knowledge and the collaboration and probably the friendliness, the way people do things. You're not battling and fighting people for leads. So what I learned in Vegas as regards to the AI technology side, yes, you've got to have a little bit, but you cannot totally rely on it. But yes, you still need to do the old school stuff, which is build conversations, build trust with people, and yeah, take it from there.
And let me just ask you, as someone that's come from a business background and a business mindset, you were in insurance and then coming into corporate events and that kind of stuff, and then transitioning into real estate. What's your observations of how the industry is rolling at the moment?
I think there's a lot of, not in EXP. EXP is sort of protected, I think, from it, but the traditional bricks and mortar, they all seem to be doing the same thing, which is looking for the easy way out. They are spending hundreds and thousands of dollars on these sort of booking places to book leads and buy leads, etc. EXP we're traditional. We are looking for a solution for that seller. Everybody else on the bricks and mortar seem to be doing it to make the commission. Whereas if you are friendly and build the trust and show people you care and you look for a solution, they trust you. And that's the first biggest part. Car dealers, real estate agents, tax office, we're not exactly the most trusted industry on the planet, and that's worldwide. So I think what we're sort of doing is we're finding solutions for people, whether it's buying a house, selling a house, getting an investment. We've got a client literally who's moving up to Cairns, and I spoke to Jane McDonald up there the other day and said, we've got a client coming up, can you look after them? This is what they're after. Anywhere else that wouldn't happen. I've got another client we've just sold a property for, they're moving back to Canada, and I've got 2 agents, EXP agents there, that are helping her find a property over in Canada. that sort of collaboration does not happen anywhere else.
Yeah, I think, and I'm not very familiar with the Gold Coast where you are, but I have been there on several occasions, and I think that my observation is there's a lot of money spent on posturing to try
Yeah,
and get a perceived professionalism rather than just being professional.
right. Be natural, be yourself. And you see it every Saturday morning when you go out, and there's people putting the home signs out, and they're driving in their big BMs and their big Mercs, and they've got the suit on, they've got the tie on. It's 35 degrees, it's 100% humidity. They're trying to look something that they're not. They are uncomfortable when they are doing it.
They've been to training in Melbourne and they thought, great, this is the way we need to dress.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I can remember back in the 80s when I lived in Perth, and St George's Terrace was like 40 degrees on a jacket.
Yeah.
Suit, put my tie on, and it's no, put that away. I mean, yeah, thank God for people like Richard Branson that sort of started getting away from the ties, which you've got to be comfortable doing what you're doing.
Yeah. So taking your life experience into it, and your real estate experience, first I might ask, how's working with your wife in real estate?
Probably the same as it was working in the corporate events business as well. Tracy's got more experience on the real estate side. She's been doing it for a lot longer. She's a lot better on the admin paperwork side. We've actually, as ThinkSol Real Estate, we've got our own in-house lead generation person now. Lady lives a couple of streets around the corner. So she's generating as well, probably 5 odd listings. I think it's 6 listing appointments yesterday from her. We've also just put on our own brand new agent as well, commission only. So he'll be helping with that. We are covering such a massive area at the moment. It's fantastic, and it's busy, which is good. I got to go to Vegas last year. This year, Tracy and myself are going to Miami. So
Yeah, no, that's good. That opens that's a little sidebar I want to talk to you, not about the Miami, but you've got someone that's doing some lead generation for you. Can you talk us through what that looks like? Without revealing any proprietary secrets that are special just to ThinkSold and no one else has ever done them.
No. I mean, basically, we've got our agent box login. We have our data in there, which has been built up obviously over the years. So it's probably about 12,000 points of data. Probably 2,000 that might be, call it, useful. There's that chunk in the middle that needs to be nurtured, cleaned, etc. And then there's the rubbish at the end. She logs in and literally phones people up, and she goes suburb by suburb and then street by street, and builds the same sort of relationship we would as well. And we probably go in a reverse way around. That's, I know you're not thinking of selling at the moment. To which, straight away, you're putting probably a little bit more at ease, as opposed to somebody else going in saying, you've got to sell your house, you've got to sell your house. If they turn around and sort of say, well, actually we are, then yes, it's, again, we change the conversation. So we are doing desktop appraisals. Rather than email them out, we use Realtair, which I know obviously I've spoken about and a few others have, etc. So everybody gets a digital introduction after they speak to us. Even if they're not looking at selling, they've got that digital introduction. It goes through as a link to their phone. Every their phone, whenever the message comes in. People aren't checking their emails every 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day. So everything is then done through Realtair. Monthly market updates, appraisals, proposals, CMAs, etc.
And for the level of business that you guys are doing at the moment, what's kind of the target goal for, I suppose, appraisals or potential client interactions per month?
Per month. I tend to speak. Basically, we start off initially right at the top with, this is where we want to be at the end of the year. We divide that by 44. We basically say that there's 44 weeks in a year. 4 weeks for holiday, and then 4 weeks for sickness, illness, kids, dentists, whatever it might be. But divided back from there. We're probably, between Mel, myself, and our other agent, we're probably making 100 plus calls a day. We're looking to have we don't count them as connects. We count them as conversations. We want to have at least a 5-minute chat with 20 people a day, 30 people a day. We set the target around about 20. When we get that, we are looking probably by the end of May to be having 6 to 8 properties on the market at any given time.
Yeah.
And then connection wise and more appraisals, more listings, then yes, we'll be bringing more people on.
Yeah, and I think that's such an important thing. I working with an agent just at the moment in my space, and there's so many agents that are looking for shiny objects to solve problems and not actually spending the time just doing the work.
Yep.
How did you've come from being overcoming call reluctance. We have a lot of agents that suffer from call reluctance.
Yep.
What kind of tips or suggestions would you have for that?
Probably the most important thing, don't take it personally. Yeah, if somebody tells you to go and take a running jump, not a problem. They're probably not the sort of client you want to be. Sort of helping out. And some people, have bad days. This could be something going on in their life that we're not aware of. So never take it personally. It's a lot easier now, I think, because everybody's got a mobile phone. 20 years ago, ringing people up, you were ringing a 1-300 number, trying to get hold of a CEO or a managing director, and you had receptionist and gatekeeper and gatekeeper and gatekeeper. It's a lot easier now. And I think literally just doing the numbers. If you can ring 100 people a day and you have 20 conversations, even if those 20 conversations are only 5 minutes long, that's only 100 minutes. It's an hour and a half, just over.
Yeah.
So a lot more time in the day to do other stuff as well. But set yourself a target, talk to 10 people in the morning, 10 in the afternoon. When you get to those sorts of numbers, do an extra 1% each time. If you sort of hit your target where you want to be, make one more call, because that one more call could be an investor who wants to go and sell his whole portfolio. It could be anything.
Yeah. Let's talk just briefly about that scripting scenario. You said you start off with a conversation. I know you're not thinking of selling right now. Talk us through that.
Yep, I think with that sort of approach, it puts them a little bit at ease rather than, oh God, another pushy real estate salesperson. If they are looking at selling, fantastic. If they say, no, not really, it might be another year or two, you've got some information to work on. And it's, oh, fantastic. Yeah, would you stay on the Gold Coast if you were to sell in 2 years' time? No, we'd probably move up to Cairns, down to Adelaide, over to Cottesloe Beach, wherever it might be. Oh, fantastic. Have you got family over there? Yes, in fact, it's the wife's birthday at the moment. They'll start giving you information. Yes, obviously keep notes unless you've got a brain like a sponge. Keep notes and they will start giving you more information. Fantastic. Not a problem. I'll send you a digital introduction. So you're telling them you're going to send this thing through to them. Then it's on their phone. Then you've got the opportunity then to sort of build from there and talk about, what matters to them. Why do they want to move? Is it children? Is it family? Is it work? Is it elderly parents? Whatever it might be. But you've got information that you can use next time you call them. How was the wedding anniversary? How was the daughter's birthday? You're then starting to build that personal relationship with them, which is what real estate's all about.
And what kind of frequency would you think is important to engage these people? So let's say you make a call in April now, and they're not thinking about doing anything. When's the next touch point?
Obviously, depending on what they have said, anywhere is probably in between sort of 3 months and 6 months. If it's about anything for 2 years, 3 years, or until the kids turn 16, they're 12 at the moment. Okay, they're not going to do anything for 4 years. Yes, something might change. But every month we send out a digital market update for that person's suburb. So they're going to get a text message off us with that information once a month anyway.
Yeah. Proper
conversation could well be every 3 months, every 6 months. There's no 100% figure. Everybody's different, but 3 to 6 is a normal sort of thing, just to make sure things haven't changed.
That makes sense to me. Nigel, it's just We've been going for just over 20 minutes. I'm very conscious of your time because I know you have slotted us in between appointments. If we can spend the next 3 to 4 minutes just talking about if you were coaching an agent who was maybe 6, 12 months into the industry or coming back into the industry,
Yep.
what are some of the highlight things that you would be directing them, maybe around mindset, daily activities, those kind of things? What would you be telling them to do?
Set yourself your targets, work out where you want to be in 12 months, 2 years, 3 years, but then also back the other way in 6 months' time. Is there something coming up that you've got to work around, whether it's a wife's pregnant, etc.? Set yourself those targets, divide it back into the 44, build from there. So know what you've got to do each day, and then do that plus a bit more. And be consistent. If you say you're going to do 50 calls a day, and the first day you only do 40, well, be honest to yourself. Do 60 the next day, so you're back on track. Because if you do 40 and then 40 and then 40, by Friday, all of a sudden you've got to make 150 phone calls. You're going to start getting unrealistic with yourself. So be consistent and be honest to yourself. You are your business. You look after your family. So just build on it from there. And also the other thing, what I'm sort of telling them, especially like the new guys, is always give something to the client when you're talking to them. Yes, you want to get in the door and do an appraisal. Yes, you want to go and do a listing appointment. That's the ultimate game. But leave the client with something. With my background in insurance, every single time I'm sort of saying to them, before I go, have a look at your insurance policy. If you know what your house is worth and you're sure, make sure your sum insured on your building is 100% right, because if the worst happens, you're going to be out of pocket. And unfortunately, we've got a case study, somebody I spoke to back in September, October, and I said the same thing. And he was, I must check my insurance. I'll get round to that, etc. Didn't do it. We had a little mini tornado come through Christmas night in the Gold Coast.
Yes, I remember all your photos.
Tornado has basically bounced over the mountains and the hills, etc. And it's pushed his garage door in, lifted up his Ford Ranger into the roof of his garage, and caused about $150,000 worth of damage to the garage and the structural side of the house. He only had his house insured for $900,000. It should have been $1.2 million. The insurance company has said to him, "You've insured 75%, 900 to 1.2 of your property value. So we're only going to pay you 75% of the 150,000. So they paid him out 107,500, give or take, plus change. The damage bill's 150. He's $37,500 out of pocket because he didn't spend a couple of $100 extra to keep his sums insured up to date. So by leaving that information with people, it does make them sort of think, and you're giving them helpful advice, which is separate to, I want to sell your house for you.
Yeah. And unfortunately now you have that case study story to then pass on. And I think what you just demonstrated there is the power of story to drive home a point. And I think that's a really critical thing. Nigel, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to be with us. If there's one parting piece of advice that you would have for an agent that is finding it difficult to be self-motivated, what would you say?
Look at yourself in the mirror, be honest, be consistent, and worst case scenario, if you're having a bad time, by all means, just pick up the phone, speak to Rob, speak to Emily, give me a call if you want to, just bounce ideas. Any of us are always here for a chat, just to sort of, help you get back into the mindset. And it could be one word of wisdom from, Chris or Bjorn down in South Australia, or yourself, Rob, or Emily now we've got up here in Queensland, or the admin people, or anybody. Just reach out and somebody will be there to help you.
Absolutely. That's very well said, Nigel. We're here for people. We can't we can't knock the doors or make the calls for you, but we can listen to what's going on and maybe point you in the right direction. Nigel, thank you very much for taking your time, and good luck with your appointments today.
Problem. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great one, guys.
Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you.